Hello, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be reading sequels. All right, so it's the sequels vlog. I'm so excited to get to start this vlog. It's been a long time coming. We have some exciting sequels to read in this video. I hope that you're excited for them. Hopefully it's not a too niche of a video because of the fact that it's sequels, but I want to do it. I'm excited for it. So without taking too long to ramble about the books, one of the books we're going to be reading is the sequel, technically the third book in a trilogy. This is Scythe and Sparrow from the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is the Butcher and Blackbird series. I loved the first two books and I ate them up so quickly. And I've had this one for a while and I haven't read it. I think I got over it really quick, so I'm excited to get back into it. This is going to be fun. The other book we're going to read is the second book in the Merciless series. I'm so excited for this one. I really love Merciless. I think it was a fun book. It's a very good like YA intro to horror, and I'm excited to start reading. As you can tell, I've already started Merciless 2. Then the final book we'll be reading for this vlog is Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm so excited to get back into the series, y'all. It's so much fun. As I've said in a previous video, my husband actually started reading these because I told him I think he would like them. He's now on like book 5 or 6 or something crazy. I had to catch up. So this is my chance to try and catch up, especially because the next book in the series is coming out in May, I believe. So we'll see if I can keep up with him. I don't know if I can with everything else that we are reading for the rest of the next few months, but nonetheless, Dungeon Crawler Carl 2. So as I said, I have already started the Merciless 2. I am 40 pages in to 312 pages, I believe, and it has started off pretty good so far. I wasn't expecting like the giant, I don't know, there's just a big reveal at the very beginning of the book, 20 pages in. I will say the big reveal is in the synopsis. I don't like reading synopsises of books most of the time, so it was a reveal to me, but it was a good reveal. Essentially, we're following the same girl, Sophia, from book 1. All of her friends are now not friends with her. We'll say that. And her neighborhood has gone empty because no one wants to be around her house. And so she's in a neighborhood by herself at this point with her mom, and we're following her journey post the exorcism that they did for her friend Brooklyn. It's a wild ride. I'm really excited to get into this one and see if it holds up to be as fun or as engaging and interesting as book 1 was. I'm really loving it so far, like I said, already 40 pages in. And then I've also actually started Scythe and Sparrow. I have this one on audiobook, so I decided to listen to some of the audiobook while I was walking with my daughter this morning, and I finished the first chapter. Such a good intro. It also gives you backstory on Rose and the situation with her leg and how her leg becomes the way it is when we meet her in book 2. So very excited for this, super excited to see where this goes. And those are gonna be our books. Follow along with me, let's go read. I'm so excited. After reading that huge chunker Will of the Many, I'm excited to move on to some less dense books. I need something more fun, and I think all 3 of these are gonna be a great read for this video to kind of help with not getting into a slump of reading after reading Will of the Many. So here we go. Okay, update time. It's been a day? 2 days, whatever. It's Tuesday. So, the Merciless 2. This is sadly taking me a lot longer than I expected to get through because it's a physical only read. And as y'all know, I don't have a lot of time to just sit down and read. So I might not end up finishing the Merciless until last, but you know, it is what it is. I am 50 pages in, so we are that far in. It is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I would love to sit down and be able to read more. So I think I'm gonna make that my priority for today is after work, just sitting and straight up just reading this book, because what I have been doing is reading Scythe and Sparrow, which I'm also really enjoying. The critique that I have on this book, if you've read the series, you know that the series is about serial killers, murderers who fall in love. That's basically what this whole series is. It's a romance book about serial killers and murderers and how they all fall in love with each other. And it follows a set of brothers. So the first book is the oldest brother, the second book is the middle brother, and this book is the youngest brother. And so we follow each one of them through a timeline of their lives and what they do and how they meet and all of that stuff, and the women that they encounter and how their relationships turn into what they are. In this book, we are following Rose, who we have met. We met her in book 1 and we meet her again in book 2. So we've met Rose many times. She seems like a great character in those books. I believe though, if I'm remembering correctly, I listened to the audiobooks for the first 2 books, and her voice was very different from the voice they're using in this book. I feel like she had more of a country hillbilly twang in the other 2 books, and I don't know if I'm misremembering that, but like that was my memory. So like hearing her voice now, she just has like a regular white girl voice. I don't know, very interesting. But then we're also following the brother Fionn. These are all Irish brothers, by the way. It doesn't matter unless you're actually listening to the audiobook in that regard, because you can hear Irish boys talking in your audiobook. But all that to say, the first half of this book, we learn background story on Rose that we didn't have context for in the other 2 books. So we learn a lot more about her and her background and her backstory. We're not really learning that much about Fionn outside of the things we already knew about the brothers from the other 2 books. So far, nothing really new about him. We already knew he was a doctor from the other 2 books because he does doctor things in the other 2 books. So that's not like revolutionary or anything new. We already knew about their upbringing and their father and all of the things that happened with that. That was in the other 2 books, so that's nothing new. There is like a tinge of something different that gets added about the father from his perspective, but it's like a minute detail that I honestly, in the end of the day, don't think matters. And I think at the end of the day, when the brothers find out what he's keeping a secret from them about that situation, I don't think they're gonna be like, oh wait, what? Like, I don't think they're gonna care. But basically, this book follows Rose, who is basically just getting revenge for what it seems to be a past life issue that she wasn't able to help. So I think this book definitely follows a lot of DV. So if you're like, trigger warnings all over the place for this book, but like if you're very much averse to hearing about DV in a book, this is full of it. But I think from what I'm gathering from some of the sprinklings of information, it seems like Rose may have known or been involved with someone or something where DV was involved, and something may have happened to somebody that she wasn't able to save or help or protect or something. So now it seems like she's taking her chances with a bunch of random people who are abusers and going after them. That's basically this whole book. But then obviously there's the love between her and Fionn and how that's blossoming, and we already knew that was going to be a thing. That shouldn't be a spoiler for y'all. If you haven't read the series, these are all they're romance books. Twisted and dark romance, but romance nonetheless. So that's not a shock or a surprise. But yeah, I will say though that some of my critique for this book just feels like, and I don't know if it's because I've already read 2 other books that already follow this similar trope, if you will, of like, I'm a killer and he saves me. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's because the first half is also like a rehashing, like I said, of a lot of things we already knew from books 1 and 2. So there's a lot of like that background story. There is new stuff that we are learning, so that's good to know. You know, I don't know. It just feels like we're just really like leaning on this trope of murdering people And I don't know if like it just feels unoriginal and it feels uninspired. It feels like we just needed to wrap up the series, and so here's book 3. Like it didn't feel really well thought out to me. It doesn't feel like the way that these things are happening are like natural or organic. Like the way that the first incident goes in this book is like, who's doing that? Who's deciding for the first time that this is what they're gonna do? You've never done this before, and all of a sudden you're gonna just go after someone, not just to go after them, but to kill somebody. You're gonna go after someone and to kill them, and you're just shocked that like, I don't know, like it didn't go well. It's just, I don't know, it feels very amateur. But then I also was having this thought in my head of like, well, it is amateur because she's never done it before. Like we're following her through her trajectory and the thing that she's wanting to be and do. And so like that checks out, I guess. That makes sense, but it's just kind of like not what I expected. So yeah, anyway, at page 214 is when the book really like starts to be original, which is really sad because I'm almost done. You know what I'm saying? Like this book ends on page 390. It takes us for 214 pages just to get to like new content, basically. Like again, there are hints of things throughout the first 214 pages that are new and are unique to just the two of these characters, but like there is a lot of rehashing of things that we've already seen from books 1 and 2, and things that we already knew and alluded to and were talked about from books 1 and 2 from Rose. So it's like, I don't know, like I just, meh. So I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it is just like something good to read, but the reason I've been reading so much of it is because I've been listening to it in audio, pretty much solely audio. And in listening to it, I'm listening to it when I'm putting my daughter down to sleep. Like I said in a previous video, I listen to audiobooks when I'm putting her to bed. But also I've been getting back into playing with my Switch, y'all. She's a gamer girl. I don't know. I just decided literally yesterday. I don't know. No, Sunday night, I was like, I want to play my Switch. And I'm playing Tiny Bookshops. If you've never played Tiny Bookshop, you totally should if you have a Switch. You don't need the new one. You can get the old one. I have the old one. I don't have a new one. I cannot justify $500 for something I already own. But all that to say, Tiny Bookshop is a game that you can play on Switch, and it's so much fun. You are a bookshop seller and you own this like tiny little bookshop on wheels that you drive around with your car in this small little town, and you meet all these small town people and you just have a fun little time, and you get to recommend books to people. So they'll ask you for recommendations, and it's real books. Like it's not made up books, like it's real actual books. Like Hamnet was on there. I saw, Carnival was on there. Like there's all kinds of like horror books too. The Shining, obscure ones that are brand new that have just come out. There's all kinds of books, and they're all real books that you, if you are a bookish person, have already probably heard of. And it gives you like a brief description of what the book is, and then it gives you the customer's like recommendation of like what they're wanting to receive a book for. And it'll tell you like, I'm really into true crime. I love a good suspenseful book, but nothing too gory. And so you have to find something like that. Or they'll be like, I want a short book, but I want it to be fun and about animals. And so you look through the books to see what you can find. Some of them are a little bit more difficult with their recommendation. It's very specific, and there's only one book that will fit that prompt. Sometimes they're a lot easier and there's like multiple books that you could choose. So yeah, it's really fun. It's a fun little cute game. I don't know. I really like it. Something mindless to do. So I've been doing that at night before I go to bed while listening to the audiobook, which is how I've gotten this far in a day. Anyway, I think this is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. We'll see how it ends. If I recommend the whole set or if I only recommend 1 or 2 books. Going back to the Merciless 2, this one's a little harder to talk about because if you didn't read the first book, there's a lot of spoiler to what's going on in this book. But we are still following the same main character from book 1, and that could be considered a little bit of a spoiler already, but it is in the synopsis. And something tragic happens, and she has to move and live in a different place, and she is going to a boarding school now, and we're meeting those characters, but she seems to have a lot of PTSD from the experiences that she had in book 1 with her friend Brooklyn and the exorcism that she went through. And basically she feels like she's seeing her friends everywhere in everyone's faces. And I don't know, it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. Like I said, I'm not very far in. I'm only like 50 pages in. So I'm hoping that I can focus on getting most of this, if not all of this, read today. I don't know if I will, but that's the goal. I will come back and update you once I have more of a like significant feeling or idea about this book. I will say though that some of this is very simplistic, and because keeping in mind that this is a YA. This is a young adult series, so it's not meant to be like this super involved, in-depth analysis of something. I think that there could be, especially because this has to deal with exorcisms and religion, but we don't really do that. We're not doing any analysis. We're just perpetuating a trope, basically. So anyway, I will come back and update you when I have more to update on. And yeah, now I just have to get back to work all the time. I'll see y'all later. We're here for an update, right? You want to update? First of all, I think I wore this sweater in another clip. Don't. Shh. It's cold. And I put on my jacket. Anyway, here's the update. I finished Scythe and Sparrow. This was a waste of my time. If I'm being real honest with y'all, this was a waste of my time for many reasons. Reason one, this is a rehashing of books 1 and 2 with a sprinkle of a different person's perspective. Like, and when I say sprinkle, I do in fact mean sprinkle. There's like maybe, I don't know, I would say like maybe a fourth of this book is original content. The rest of it is just rehashing of old scenes and old things that we saw in the other 2 books. Like, because their relationship is happening at the same time that his brother's 2 relationships were happening, we're just going back in time for a lot of this book. There's also huge time jumps towards the end where we've like 1 year later. Huh? A whole year? How did we skip a whole year? Also, why are you like, why? I don't, it's fine. It's fine. It's not that deep. It was fine. It was very mid. Because it's number 3 in the series, I can't be surprised. I feel like one of the people that I follow on BookTube, Kayla from Books and Lala, she talks about this a lot, that like she's just not a sequel girly. She just really doesn't typically like the follow-up books to the first book. If she's like obsessed with the first book, she usually cannot, the second book does not deliver the same, which is fair because they typically don't, right? You do have to, like, in my opinion, somewhat lower your expectation for the subsequent books, because the high that you get from the first like really good book that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm totally reading this series. And then you get to book 2 and you're like, okay, yeah, that was like, there was more story. And like, usually the deeper they go, the like, to be honest, the less and less like great they typically are. It's very random and hard, in my opinion, to find a series where books that come after the first book are just as good as the first book. From what I've heard from some people, Dungeon Crawler Carl series is that. It is an anomaly in the sense that like a lot of people like the middle books as much as they like the first book. I think ACOTAR had that kind of thing, that some people really liked the first book and then book 2, like they were like, oh, this one's my favorite. So like there are book series that do that, but it's very far and few between, in my opinion. So I wasn't like, I shouldn't have expected a whole heck of a lot from this, and I didn't get a whole heck of a lot. So I listened to this audio, and they did change the voices of the people in this book, because we also see the brothers show up in this book, and we see and obviously the narrator of this book is not the same person who narrated the other books. At least I don't believe. If she is, she did a not great job on voicing the other characters the same that she voiced them in the other books. But like, one of the brothers has like a very thick, hard Irish accent. The other 2 have just like mild Irish accents, but the middle brother, or the oldest, I can't remember which one he is, the brother from book 2 has the thickest Irish accent in that audiobook. And in this audiobook, he just sounds regular. He just sounds like a regular person. Like, it's still Irish, but like, it's like barely Irish. You know what I'm saying? Also, the sex scenes in this one, I think I'm just over that stuff. I think the way that it's being written and the way, like, I don't know, something about it in this book, I was just like, I don't really want to hear this or listen to this. But there was also like, I don't know that I've noticed it in other books where they have like sex scenes that they're like actively moaning and groaning, and like it was immersive in a way that was uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I felt like I was sitting in the room with them while they were doing what they were doing, and I was like, I shouldn't be here. I'm not supposed to be here for this. It was just weird. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. I finished it. It's a 3-star. The problem child. I haven't been able to sit down and actually read this. So I told y'all in my last clip, I was gonna spend all night reading this book. And then I remembered after work that day, I actually have a video that I have to make, edit, and post today. Not today, but like that day that I filmed that clip. So I didn't read any of this at all. I think I may have read like a page or two because I forgot about the fact that I had to make that video until after I put my daughter to bed. And so I was like, shit, like I have to go make that video. So if you haven't seen it, I did post a 2026 anticipated non-horror reads, and I thought it came out really good, and I did it, I guess, I don't know, I liked it. And so if you want to see that, you can watch that, but I really enjoyed it. It was a good book, or a good book. It was a good video. I had fun making it. I did some research honestly on the fly, but I think it turned out well, and I found quite a few books that I was like, oh, I really want to read these. But back to Merciless, we are on page 58, technically 59, so I haven't gotten much further. I do want to finish this today, so I'm hoping that tonight I can spend my time just reading the book tonight and not having to do a whole lot of anything else. I also have started the audiobook for Carl's Doomsday Scenario. My husband bought this book. So I don't know. I wasn't intending to like purchase any more of the books because I really enjoy the audiobooks. As much as I hate Audible because I hate what they stand for and who they're aligned with and all of that, the audiobooks are good. Okay, they're really, really good audiobooks from Dungeon Crawler Carl, and you can only get them on Audible. So all that to say though, I started book 2, very excited. It was so fun to just like jump straight back into like Donut and Carl and like that whole thing. Like I'm so excited to start this again. This is such a fun little series. So I'll be listening to this when I'm not able to actually sit down and read. So I'll probably actually put my headphones on and listen to this while I'm working today. And then after that, when I get off, I'll fully focus on the Merciless. I will only be audiobooking this because I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna pretend, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna actually physically read this book. I'm only gonna do this one on audio because I don't care to physically read it. The only thing I will physically read is that I have backstage sections for the Pineapple Cabaret in the book that is not in the audiobooks, by the way. If you're an audiobook listener, there's a whole chunk in the book that you're missing. So just if you didn't know, but I want to read the Pineapple Cabaret section at the end of this. So that will be the only thing that I actually read physically from this book. Otherwise, I'm not actually gonna read it. So don't get foiled by the fact that I'm holding the book for aesthetics more than anything, because I'm probably not gonna hold this book and read it at any point. This is our problem child, because there is no audiobook for this, because I would have got the audiobook for it if there had been one, but there is not one. They only made an audiobook for the first book. So all the other books in the series don't have audiobooks. So it's gonna slow me down, but we're gonna make it through. I will do whatever I have to finish reading this before Sunday. It is currently Thursday. So I have today, Friday, and Saturday to read. Saturday, not so much, but today and tomorrow, I definitely have the time to read, and I can definitely finish that if I really just like focus in. So we should be able to finish it. Yeah, if we don't, I'll bring y'all with me on Saturday for a clip sneak peek of what we'll be doing for an upcoming video so that you can see what that's like. But I think that's it. Okay, I'm supposed to be listening to the Dungeon Crawler Carl book, right? But I'm a YouTube girl at heart, and I was watching a YouTube video before I started filming, and so I had to finish listening to the video. What a wild story. I just randomly found this video. It's by Olay and Chill. And it's the story, the title of the video is Her Mom Slept with Her Husband. Yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. It is, in fact, as wild as it sounds. That's so crazy. Yeah, what happened in that video is so crazy. I can't even. I don't know. Olay is funny though. She's the way she tells stories, because the way Nigerians tell stories, y'all, if y'all don't know, they're good storytellers. They just tell good stories, you know? And so she's telling the story, and the way she's telling it is just crazy. But the part that y'all saw my reaction for was the ending of the video, where the girl whose mom slept with her husband recorded her mom's confession to her about the fact that, yes, I did sleep with your husband. And she played the recording in the video, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. She said I didn't know what was happening. It just happened. Girl. No, I don't know about all that. But, you know, could it be me? Could it be my mom? Tell you one thing for sure and for certain, it would not be my mom. That's not even something I would even think about. That's so crazy that you can't even trust your own mom. Wild. That's some wild stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna stop being messy, and we're gonna actually listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl now. So let's get back into it. Hello. Some things have changed since I talked to you last. One being my attire. It's the second half of my workday, and that means that I have no more meetings for the evening. It's just busy work for the rest of the day. So with that, I wanted to update y'all on my reading so far. Let's see. So as of right now, we're at actually a very interesting part in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I am in chapter 7 already. I'm having such a fun time. I really truly love this series. It's just so fun. It's such a fun and like whimsical and like out of this world kind of book, so it really helps, especially right now with everything going on in the world that's going on. It really helps in the sense that like I don't feel like the world is so heavy because I have something to distract me. So I really do enjoy these books. They're just easy to read, they're fun, it's a good distraction, honestly. If you're looking for something pretty simple and easy to follow that's fun and engaging, like this is a great series if you're looking for something like that. I really do recommend it. I think it's an amazing series so far. Obviously, I'm only on book 2. My husband though has read up to book 5 already, and he's obsessed with it. So I think this is just a great series, and I do recommend the audiobooks because the Audible versions are it's just amazing. I believe the narrator, his name is Jeff Hayes. Let me double check. Yes, Jeff Hayes is the narrator on the Audible audiobooks, and that he has it down. He's so good. Between the voice for Donut and the voice for Carl and the voice for the AI, like I can't even believe that all of the voices in this are just this one person. Like, it's insane. He's very talented. So yeah, I do highly recommend it. I'm having a really good time. Obviously, we're following Carl and Donut in the second half of this level thing. So there's this, for the background of Dungeon Crawler Carl, essentially what's happening is an alien race invades the earth, wipes the earth, and anyone who was left is told you can go into this dungeon and maybe survive, and they're giving like this whole list of like rules and all these things, or you can stay up here and try to live your life up here if you want, but there's like literally nothing, like it's barren. They've wiped out everything. So Carl is like, I have to go. And so he goes with his ex-girlfriend's cat into the dungeon, and it's following them going through the dungeon. The dungeon is 18 levels. It's something you learn very early on in the series in the very first book. And so the first book follows them going through level 1 up until level 3. And level 3 it cuts off because there's a big change in how things are going to go for the rest of the book after level 3, or the series. So this opens up with what that change is. Super cool, super interesting. The characters, I just enjoy this so much. I don't want to say too much about what we're doing in book 2 because it's all spoilers for book 1. So all of that to say, I do highly recommend that you read this. I will let you know at the end how I'm feeling about it and if I still feel like it's really worth all of the things and all the accolades that I keep giving it, but so far I'm very much enjoying this. The other update was just I changed my wall. So y'all are used to seeing this wall behind me, and I just got really bored of it. The way it was in the first clip versus now, like it just was like three of the same frames across here, and then 2 frames that were horizontal like this underneath those 3, like as a pyramid tower almost. And then this RIP sign was like on top of one of them. And y'all, it just wasn't giving what it needs to give for my wall. Like stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. Part of the reason why I did this, one, I hated the way it looked. It was boring. I just have never really liked it, but I didn't know what else to do with it. But I was standing here getting ready to go pick up my daughter from her daycare, and I realized I had art that's behind my computer that you can't see. Because my computers are covering most of the wall here, you can't see anything behind it. Even if you're standing up, you can't see anything behind here. So I decided to remove all of the lower pictures that were below the computers, and I'm using some of them on the back wall. And so now I'll show you. This is the wall behind my computer. That's the wall behind my computer, and it's one of my most favorite, cherished walls. I just love a gallery wall. I really do. It's just so fun and cool. A lot of this artwork is artwork I had my sister made for me, and then everything else is stuff that I've bought over the years. And then I just transitioned some of the pieces that were down low onto this wall to like give it a little bit more pizzazz. There's obviously like some gaps that I need to like potentially fill, but I think it looks a lot better. And like, I think that looks much better for like being behind me. We just gotta figure out, we gotta fill this gap. This looks silly. I have to find some things to put there. And then I think this side's a little bit more balanced, but like there's space for some stuff right here and a little bit of space here. So I could put more. I don't want to go too far down on the wall though, because I don't want my daughter to be grabbing at things and ripping stuff off the wall. So I think for right now, like this is as low as I'm gonna get with any of it, because she can already, like she could probably reach this if she wanted to, and I don't want her to. So that's where we're at. Those are the things that have changed outside of me putting on a different outfit. It's cozy time. I'm about to have lunch and listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl, like I said, while I do some admin work. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's the update. I should have recorded me doing this. I didn't even think about it, honestly. I wasn't planning to do all of that, and then I was like, well, why not? And so I just, when I get a wild hair, I just act on it and I don't think about everything that entails until after the fact. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, so I'm gonna go eat my lunch now, and I'll update you when I have an update. Welcome back. Trust me, I look as bad as I feel. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do. My daughter got sick again. That's the downside of having a kid in daycare. So I feel like absolute horse poop. So because of that, I've done very little reading today. I did read a little bit of the Merciless 2. I have not listened to the audiobook at all for Dungeon Crawler Carl since yesterday. I'm on chapter 10 in Dungeon Crawler Carl, and so I have quite a ways to go. I think there's still like 6 hours worth of audiobook to listen to, maybe 5, I'm not sure. And then I made it almost 100 pages into the Merciless, and this is 307 pages. No, 312 pages. I still have 212 pages to go, but I think tonight what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read my book with my little reading light and drink some hot tea because my throat hurts, my face hurts, I just feel terrible. Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna drink my hot tea. I'm gonna read my book with my little book light. And I'm gonna put my headphones on and put it on like some kind of ambiance noise to go with the vibes of the book. Hello, buddy. And we're gonna just crack through it and see how far I can get tonight. And if anything, this vlog might just be up late Sunday instead of midday Sunday. Let's do it. I need to stop talking. I need to go take some medicine and lay down. And let's start there. Let's take some medicine. Then we'll read. And then we'll worry about the video later. As far as the Merciless 2 goes, as of so far, I'm 100 pages in and I'm bored. Just to kind of give like a little review. Excuse my reading light, I'll turn that off. I'm 100 pages in and it's boring. I'm bored. Nothing interesting has happened beyond the thing that happened at the very beginning of the book, which is in the synopsis of the book. Other than that, nothing has happened. It's just getting us into a setting and getting us settled with our characters for this book. So I'm hoping in the next 100 pages something actually interesting is going to happen, because it's kind of how Merciless, the original, or number 1 is. Like, it's very like builds you up kind of thing. So I'm hoping that that's what this is one's gonna do too, because again, 100 pages into a 312 page book and nothing interesting is going on. I'm getting bored. So anyway, that's probably why it's taken me so long to read this as well. I just don't want to. I kind of don't want to be honest. It's just not as exciting as I was hoping it would be, and it's not as gripping as I was hoping it would be, so I'm just kind of like, meh, with it, but I'm gonna push through it because I do want to see if this book is going to be good, or at least good enough for me to want to read books 3 and 4, or if books 3 and 4 are gonna get left on the shelf for a while. So yeah, anyway, that's Merciless. Dungeon Crawler Carl is going well. It's just fun. I'm just having a good time. Nothing too much has happened so far. We've met a level boss so far, and the levels now are a lot different than the original levels in the first book, where there's actually like money involved and stakes involved, and not that there weren't stakes in the first few levels, but like the stakes are a lot higher now, and you have to like financially pay for things now. Like you don't just get stuff for free kind of thing. So that's been interesting. The boss that we just met has been interesting. I stopped at a like crazy part to stop at, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see what ends up coming from where I stopped. Seems like we're in a very precarious situation because Carl decided to trust someone that he shouldn't have, and then decided last minute not to trust them, and then that blew up in their faces. So that's kind of where we're at in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm still really enjoying it. It's such a fun book. I'm hoping, again, that I can finish it tomorrow. I was supposed to be going book shopping tomorrow for my Wednesday video, but I don't think I'm gonna make that, I don't think that's gonna happen tomorrow because I don't feel good, and neither does my daughter. And also I want to finish reading my books. So I think we might move that to Sunday, which is also why Sunday's video might be late. So anyway, giving a lot of caveats for things and excuses, if you will, for why everything's delayed, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world, and I make my own schedule with the YouTube scheduling. I pick how my schedule works, and so I've just decided that noon on Sundays and noon on Wednesdays is the time that I like to have my videos go live. But yeah, it may just be late on Sunday, and that's okay. I'm only one person and I can only do so much. So enough gabbing. Let's get into our books, and I'll talk to y'all later. Hello, everyone. As you can tell, I'm sick today. I'm not feeling great, but it has lent itself to me being able to read because I can't do anything else. Last night when I checked in with you, I was going to read some of the Merciless, get as far as I could before I went to bed. I ended up going to bed like maybe an hour or two after that clip. I was so tired, obviously because I don't feel well. But I got to page 200 last night, and then today I finished. So the Merciless 2, let's talk about it. Merciless 1 was really good. I really enjoyed the first book. The premise was really cool. There was a lot of like young adult horror elements, and a lot of like body horror and just like blood and guts kind of horror in book 1. And I really appreciated that. And I felt like it kicked off pretty quickly. Like we weren't just lulling around in book 1, and I feel like it was just set up really well. Book 2 felt like we were trying to find a way to make it scary. It didn't have the same impact as book 1. The impact just wasn't there, and I'm like not 100% sure why, or like what made it feel that way to me, other than the fact that like we just spent a lot of time dealing with our main character being paranoid and having PTSD from everything that happened in book 1. And all of that is warranted, obviously, but like that was like what we leaned on for almost 200 pages. Around 120 pages is where action actually starts to happen outside of the first scene in the beginning. And it's like it's good, but I guess we're also dealing with a situation where we kind of feel like potentially there's an unreliable narrator situation going on. And I guess that's kind of what she was going for, but like it just doesn't hit. Like it doesn't hit the way it should. So for that reason, like it's just not good. Like it just wasn't good. By the time I got, like, what page was it? Page 296. Around then, I started rolling my eyes. And I was like, what are we doing? What is going on? The ending is terrible. I'm sorry. But this wasn't good. I'm so sad because I wanted it to be good. I wanted to have this, like, series about exorcisms that was, like, in demonology and all of that. That was going to be super good. It's a young adult horror intro thing. And this was not good. This was 2.5 stars, y'all. I'm sorry, that's my truth, it's how I feel, okay? It could have been better, and it was bad, and that's the truth. Hello, buddy. It's bedtime, and he wants to be held. Sadly, 2.5 stars. I don't think I'm going to continue the series, to be honest. Part of me wants to like skim the next book to kind of figure out what happens to the main character in book 3 because of how it ends. But like, I'm not reading a whole nother 2 books. Come on, be serious. An update on Dungeon Crawler Carl 2 Doomsday Scenario. I'm having a great time. I will say I don't feel like this one is as exciting to me as book 1 was. Like, it's still interesting, but I don't know, something about it, it's wearing off. I don't know if it's because I'm sick and I'm trying to read books while I'm sick and I'm tired, so I'm not like in the mood, to be honest with you, but I'm trying to finish these so that I can upload this video tomorrow. So I don't know if that's impacting the reading, honestly, but I will say, comparison in book 1 to book 2, I feel like the action started a lot faster in book 1. We were like instantly thrown in. Book 2, it kind of lulls. Like the beginning is just kind of like, I think it took up until the chapter 6 where like something actually starts happening. Chapter, like the first half, like we're wrapping up the situation that happens at the end of book 1. And so like we're dealing with what all that is, but then like I said, it just takes a while to get to the action again, and it's kind of boring until that happens. And to be honest, some of the action is kind of boring this time around. I felt like book 1, the characters had more description and the characters were a little more quirky and weird and silly and goofy, and we had more communication with the other characters in book 1. And in book 2, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like this book is more serious. Like everything is so much more serious, which obviously for the situation, yes, it is serious, right? Like they have to survive or they die, right? That's the whole premise of this whole series. I feel like it just doesn't feel as light and goofy as the first book. And I don't know, again, I don't know if that's just because like I'm sick and so I'm like not finding anything funny, but it just feels like there are parts that are funny, but I feel like I laughed so much more during book 1 than I am in book 2. Like I feel like in book 1, there's an AI that talks to us in book 1. And again, I'm also only listening to this in audio. I'm not reading the book physically, but in book 1, the AI was like much more engaging and interactive and just funny and witty and so weird and creepy. And in book 2, like he's just bland. Like it doesn't feel as exciting. I don't know, everything just feels kind of lackluster in this book for some reason. And I don't know what that is, and I don't know why that is. The quests that they're going on are still fun and interesting, and like I'm still like enjoying like figuring out what's gonna happen and what he's doing and how we're getting through things. But outside of that, it just feels very lackluster, yeah. Like it's not like bad. Like I would not say this book is bad, but it is like a little bit lower to me than book 1. Like book 1 was a 5-star, straight off. This book feels presently like 3.5, 4. And again, maybe if I wasn't sick when I was reading this, I would enjoy it more and I would find it more amusing, but I'm just not. I feel like everyone was more witty in book 1 than they are in book 2. People don't feel witty. People, characters, creatures, whatever you want to call them. Nothing feels as witty in this book. It doesn't feel as goofy. It doesn't feel as silly. It doesn't feel as fun. So I think that's my biggest critique for book 2, is just not living up to the hype that book 1 was. So I don't know. We have the audiobooks for book 3, 4, and 5, so I'll continue. My husband really likes the series, so I will continue it. I'm not gonna stop reading them, but I do hope that they get better, which I'm also like not feeling great about as well, because my husband said that book 3 wasn't as good and to him. And so I'm like, if he didn't like book 3, but he liked book 1 and 2, I don't know what that means for me for book 3. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna finish. I'm 75% of the way in, I believe. Sorry, 72% of the way in. So I'm gonna keep going, and I'm hopefully gonna finish this tonight, and I'll have my final review for you in the morning. Okay, it's official. I finished reading Dungeon Crawler Carl Doomsday Scenario last night. I think the ending was better than the beginning, definitely, but I still feel the exact same way I felt yesterday when I was explaining it to you guys. I just feel like this book wasn't as fun. It just didn't have the same amount of wit and funny comedic relief that the first book had, which is what made the first book so interesting to me. This ended up being 3.5 stars for me, which I'm kind of sad about because the first book was a 5-star. I kind of talked about this in the other clip about sequels not always being as good as the first book, and I think this is just unfortunately one of those instances. So we've finished all 3 sequels. It has been an adventure. I didn't really enjoy any of them as much as I expected, which is sad, and that makes me sad. So I really wanted to have read a bunch of like 5 stars, right? That's always the goal. But regardless, we get to read 3 books that I already owned that were on my TBR that I want to read. So that's always a win. We're getting our numbers down, you know, slowly but surely the number is decreasing. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. I hope that y'all enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I hope to see y'all back on Wednesday for whatever video I end up posting. I'm not really sure. And our next video is going to be on next Sunday, which is my reading new releases vlog. So very excited about that one. I've already started it, so very excited to get into it. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.